So this is the code where we left off in video number 14. Where we created our shader loader module. So now I'm going to create a new file and call it ObjLoader. ObjLoader. And just start to code it. So first of all, we're gonna import numpy as np, and we are gonna create a class for it. So class ObjLoader. I'm gonna create an init method or a constructor. So def init space init, yes, self, and I'm going to create some arrays or lists. So first is vert chords, it's equals an empty list. The next will be the self dot texture chords, so text chords, and it's equals to an empty list, and self dot normal coordinates, normal coordinates, norm chords. So in this list I'm going to append all the vert coordinates, or the texture coordinates, and all the normal coordinates. And I'm gonna create three lists for the indices. So self dot vertex index, it's equal to an empty list, self dot texture index, empty list, vertex index, texture index, normal index, self dot normal underscore index. And lastly, I'm going to create a model list. So let's create the load model method. adf def load model self, and in the file it will take as argument an obj file. So now we're gonna loop through the object file. So for line in open the file in read mode, for line in open file read mode, and I'm gonna check for something. So if line dot starts with this is a comment as in Python, this number sign or hashtag, or this is called, it's a comment. So when it's a comment, just continue. So values equal to line dot split and if not values, just continue. Okay, I'm gonna add just more lines. Okay, so if not values, continue. So now we are going to check for I'm going to open the cube.obj. So now we are going to check for lines which start with the letter V. So if values 0 equals the V, then self dot vertchords dot append, yes, the values from 1 through 4. Why 1 through 4? Because the 0th value is the letter V, and the first value is this, second and the third value. So 1 through 4, which means the first, the second, the third, and not including the fourth value. So now we're going to check if values 0 starts with VT. So VT, the vertex textures. So self dot vertchords, text chord dot append values from 1 until 3, because the vertices has 1 and 2, and remember to add 1 because up to 3 but not including 3, this means. And the next is the normals. So if values at 0 starts with Vn, then self dot norm chords dot append values at 1 through 4, and 1 through 4 because normals are 3 values, and from 1 because the 0 is the VN, the two letters VN. So now going to the faces. If values 0, if value 0 is equal to the letter F, then we are going to create three temporary lists. So let's say face I empty list, textures index is an empty list, and in normal index I is an empty list too. Okay. So now we are going to loop for v in values 1 through 4. So for v in values 1 through 4, and gonna split it, so we dot split add this forward slash, so it's gonna read, this will be the first value, which is 0, that's why we start from 1, and we are gonna split it by these forward slashes. Okay, we that split, and to the face underscore I that append the int of w0, the int of w0, and let me type it out, and I'm gonna explain one more thing, that append the int of w at 1, and the norm I dot append the int at w2. So yes. So now into the face I, it will append all the face or the vertex coordinate values, so the 2, the 4, the 1, the 8, the 6, the 5, and so on. And to the text I, it will append these values, the second values in the sequences. And to the norm I or normal index, it will append the third value, so 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, and so on. But we have to subtract 1 from all of these, because in an OBJ file the indexing starts at 1. So let's say in this texture coordinate 1, this texture coordinate 1 corresponds to this. But as we loaded into our lists, then list or array indexing in general in programming starts at 0. So these two, after we subtracted 1, these two will become 1. Undo paste what I pasted. Okay, so this 2 will become 1, this one will become 0, and this one will become 0. So we need to subtract 1 from all of the indices information. And after that, self.vertex index, we are gonna append the face eye, and self.texture index, we are gonna append the text eye, and self.normal index, we are gonna append the norm eye. Okay, so now we loaded all our information into our Python list. Into this free list we are appended all the vertex coordinates, all the texture coordinates, and all the normal coordinates, and into this free lists we are appended all the face indices. So now our vertex index, texture index, and normal index lists are looking something like this, where we have some so-called list of lists. So we have one giant list which contains different sublists. So it looks now like this, and what I wanted to do is just flatten it out, so at the end it will look like this. So it will be just one list with all the values. So that's why I'm going to use something so-called list comprehension or list comprehensions. So self.vertex, let's start with the vertex index. Vertex index is equal to y for x, no, not y for, but yeah, y for x in self.vertex index, self.vertex index, and for y in x. So this list comprehension is flattening out our list into a single one-dimensional array or list. So I'm gonna repeat this for the texture index, and for the normal index too, normal index and normal index. So now our vertex, texture, and normal indexes are flattened out like this. So let's continue. So the next thing is looping through these indexes. So for I in self dot vertex index, and gonna append to the model. Not append, but extend, rather extend the self dot vert chord at the position I. So now the model which we created here, model list will be extended by the vert chords based upon the vertex index. So if the vertex index is, let's say, 5, then this value I is gonna be append the 5th vertex coordinate into the model list. I hope it's understandable, and I'm gonna doing it for the texture index, replace it with texture index, and model.extend with the text chords at I. Why I'm using extend instead of append? Because append just creates a new list inside the list. So extends the list, but doesn't create a new list inside the list. So I want to have just one-dimensional list. That's why I'm using extend, and I'm going to do this for the normal index. Normal index, model.extend, and norm chords. Yes, not the best practice is doing this in 3 different for loops. I could just make a function for do this, but I wanted to do this as simple as possible. So maybe in the later videos I'm gonna do this inside the function. And the last thing inside our ObjLoader class is just convert the model into a numpy array. So self.model is equal to an np.array so self.model, and the d type is equal to float 32. So this is needed because we can just send Python list, cannot send Python list to the GPU. It only accepts integer or float buffers or C types arrays. So See you in the next video.